troubles behind. Found salvation in the rhythm of a line. No emails or meetings, just the river's sway. Gone fishing, and I'm here to stay.
Alright, welcome to Jighead John Kayak Fishing and Baits. It is November 8th. It's about 7 a.m. I am headed up to North Jacksonville, Florida again. I'm going to fish a new area. I'm going to fish the Fort George Inlet area that sits between Fort George Island and Little Talbot Island. So I do know that you need to fish it the last couple hours before high tide, and then for a few hours after the tide changed to low tide, because it gets pretty skinny in there. I've never fished the area before. It's got a lot of grass islands with oyster beds around it, so I'll be running around with a lot of search baits and see what we can do. I do know that when the tide's coming in, the sharks like to cruise around the area, so I have heard if you catch something, you need to get it in quickly. So we're gonna give it a shot, see how we do. If it doesn't work out, looks like high tide's gonna be at about 11 a.m. I can always go back into my favorite creek and fish. So we will see how it's gonna go. There will be a lot of people out there sheephead fishing on the bridge. The sheephead fishing is on fire right now, but I'm gonna focus on going after trout, redfish, and flounders. So I will see you once I get my kayak ready to put in the water. All right, I am ready to get in the water. I got my kayak ready. This is my setup. This is my Old Town Sportsman Big Water 132 EPDL Plus. So today we got the high tides coming in. We're gonna go fish over here. Directly out there's the inlet. So we're gonna go into the bridge and try to fish some of these grass islands and see what we can do. So I'll be back when I hopefully hook up. All right, so I am on the kayak. We just went underneath the bridge. If you look to the left there, that's the inlet. So I'm going to go straight ahead here and fish around some of these grass islands and see what we can do. So I will be back if I hook up. All right, I am already hooked up. I was just trolling my green chartreuse paddle tail, heading over to one of these grass islands, and I got a fish on. Let's see what we got. He's pulling pretty good. Might be a, kind of feels like a, might be a jack. Let's see. Yeah. Alright, got a jack crevalle here. They pull good. Let me see, let me get them. Decent size one on the green 3.8 inch rip wrap paddle tail. So, alright. Well, that didn't take long. Yeah, I know in here you can get the jacks running and the bluefish. So he's pretty good size. These things, I don't eat them, but they're fun to catch. So, oop, let me get my, oh, well, lost that. Back you go. All right, let me get rigged back up and I'll be back. Wow, what a beautiful day today. Water's flat, so I'm gonna go fish around these three grass islands and we'll see how we do. I'll be back. All right, so I didn't have any luck around those grass beds, no bites. I saw a lot of bait, so I think what I'm gonna try now is all along this shoreline is grass and oyster beds coming off of it. So I'm gonna troll probably a chartreuse paddle tail and a white paddle tail along this area and see if I can hook them on anything. So if I get hooked up, I'll be back. Well, I just barely threw a paddle tail out and I got hooked up. He's pulling pretty good. I have a feeling it's another jack. I saw a lot of bait jumping around here. It looked like there's some jacks in here feeding, but we'll see what it is. They're fun to fight. Let's see here. Yeah, he's pulling pretty good. tell you what, this is a jack. They put up a good fight. Even the small ones. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Yeah. Particularly on this medium light tackle. So let me get them on in here. Oop. All right, I'm just gonna lift them in. All right. One problem with these fish is that they tear up your artificials. So let me get him off and we'll get back to fishing. All right, so I gave this area a shot. No trout hookups, caught a couple jacks, and I think there's just jacks all over the place, and they're biting the tail ends off all my baits. So I'm gonna move on and head back in the creek and start fishing that area. With the tide coming in though, I am gonna try to anchor up and throw some fresh dead shrimp underneath a platform dock I like to fish under and see if we can get some black drum or some redfish. So we will be back. Okay, so we're back. It is 2.5 hours from high tide and the water is already super high. We had a full moon on Wednesday, so the water's really flowing. I had to anchor up over by the grass, and I'm gonna try to throw some fresh dead shrimp up under this floating dock right here and see if I can get it up under there, see if we can get us some maybe a redfish and some black drum. So I will be back if we hook up. All right, I'm back. The incoming tide was too rough and coming in too hard to fish under any docks, so I had to scratch that. We just have a ton of water in here right now, and it's still not peak high tide for another 45 minutes. So I trolled along the shoreline, the oyster beds, 0 bites. So I'm just gonna anchor up, try and put some fresh dead shrimp down on the bottom and see if anything will hit. It may just be that it's gonna be a few hours before the fishing picks up and the tide starts going out. So I'll be back if I hook up. All right, fish on, fish on. Let's see what we got here. Tried the shrimp on the bottom, it didn't work. So I am back to trolling on the oyster beds. Tide's going out. Let's see what I got here. Got a trout. Might try to measure him. I'll be back. All right, I'm back. He's a fat trout, but tail pinched, he's right at 15, and I always throw them back when they're at the bottom of the slot. So, oh, back he goes. There you go. I do want to show you when I can't catch anything and I'm having trouble. I always go back to this bait right here. This is a local bait maker named Hackney. This is called the Copperhead. I have caught my personal best trout, redfish, and flounder with this thing. So fishing's tough right now. The water's real high. So I'm just going to keep trolling the side of the grass and the oyster beds and see if we can start hooking up. So I'll be back. All right, fish on. Let's see here. Pulling pretty good. It's been real slow. The water's real high. So I started just trolling along these oyster beds. Feels like a good fish. Not sure what it is. Might be a big trout. Oh yeah, it's a big trout. Yeah. Yeah. Good trout. I think he's going to be a keeper, so I will be back to measure him in a minute. Fish on. Oh, he hit good. Let's see what he is here. see, looks like a, ooh, big trout. Big trout, big trout. Ooh, big one. See if I can get him. Big old trout. Huge. Oh, wow. Nice trout. Oh, I gotta get my other line in. Let's see here. Okay, get a mess. All right, I'll be back to measure him. All right. Tail pinched, he is 20 inches. That is what I'm talking about. That is a big trout for back here. Caught him on that same Hackney paddle tail, trolling these grass beds. So that's what I'm gonna do. Let me bag them up and I'll be back if I hook up. All right, fish on. Uh-oh. Hang on. All right. Oh, let's see here. I gotta get him over. Okay, fish on. I need to get this other rod in real quick. Alright, he's still on. Feels like a trout. Let's see here. Feels pretty good. Let's see. Alright. Yep, trout. Alright, caught him on the Hackney bait again. He's an under slot. So we'll be back when we hook up. Alright, fish on. Let's see what we got here. Pulling pretty good. Feels like another good trout. We'll see here. See what size he is. Oh, got off. Oh well. All right, I'm back. Tried doing a lot of trolling along the oyster beds. A little bit of luck, but finally the water's starting to pour out. We still got a really high tide, so I'm gonna try to put some shrimp on the bottom and see if we can get our keeper red for the day. I'll be back if I hook up. All right, fish on. Let's see what we got here. Doing the dead shrimp on the bottom. It's coming in pretty easy. Let's see what we got here. Yep, kitty cat, catfish. Let me get them off. All right, got a fish on. Let's see what it is. Good old ladyfish. Nasty. Ugh, I hate these fish. Ugh. All right, back you go. I think I have a fish on. Let's see. I think it's something little here. See if it's another catfish. Oh, a little grunt pinfish. All right, fish on. Let's see what we got here. Pulling pretty good. Let's see. Decent little red. Been weeding through all these little tiny ones, taking off all my bait. Let's see what we got here. He's under slot, but he's pretty. Let's get him in here. All right. All right. That's cool. Look at the spot pattern on him. He's got 5 spots, but he's under slot, so he's going back. All right, done fishing, all loaded up. It was an okay day. Went to Fort George Inlet for the first time, tried to fish it. It was still really high tide. We had a full moon a few days ago. Could have probably stayed out there and caught jacks all day, but no trout, no reds, so decided to go on back into my favorite creek system. The tide just stayed high all day. It was a tough day of fishing. Got a few trout, got a really nice 20-inch trout. One of your 5 trout you get to keep over 19 inches, so I kept him. Got one little red, and that was it. So overall, decent day, but also a tough day. So coming up, I'm probably going to do a video on safety. I work in the medical field. Been around the coast for 30 years. Seen lots of injuries and things on kayaks, so I'm gonna probably do a video on that. I do have my new AI angling curly tail grub mold. I'm gonna do a video on that, and we got Christmas coming up, so I was thinking about maybe doing a video on what would be some of the top 12 things that any kayak fisherman would want for Christmas. So thanks for watching my channel. Please subscribe, like, and notify, and we'll see you next time.